Hey guys, welcome to Isaiah's Reviews, and today we're reviewing the Conico baby monitor and camera. It's right here. It's pretty nice. It's not going to connect to your home Wi-Fi network. It has its own secure network. Here's a little antenna on the back of the camera there. And I'm happy to report there's USB Type-C everywhere on the monitor and the camera. How cool is that? It does have the cord for the camera, of course, comes with it, and a charging cable for the monitor, but the cord for the camera has a magnet wrapped around it for signal, or whatever it's called. I can't even think of what it's called, but that has a little magnet case around it for interference. So that's there. So I don't know if you could get by with just using a typical Type-C cable anywhere, because if you want to move this around and kind of leave one thing plugged up, or you need to take that with you, just try it and see. I've only left it plugged into the cord that it came with. So just a note, just a side note. They say 960 feet of range. That's pretty far, and this is our third system for monitoring, and this one goes just as long as the rest. So it has a little antenna here on the back that pops up. There's also a two-place stand here, so you can set a little bit up closer to you if you're just like chilling, relaxing, or you can just lay it back kind of down. It sits more at an angle down. But yeah, the range is crazy because you can like walk down the street, which I wouldn't suggest like leaving your baby, but if you're doing something in the backyard or wherever, you're completely covered. I've never had any kind of loss in video feed anywhere on my property. So I think a quarter-acre lot, so I think you're good. You should be good. Of course, you have that rechargeable battery, and the cool thing about the battery that's in here is, if I can show you, there we go, it's replaceable. Look, you can swap that thing out if you need to know the numbers on it. So there it is. Is it upside down? Here. There. If you need to see the numbers and stuff on the battery to figure out what kind of battery it is, there's the information. It's stuck to it with some sticky stuff. I did pry it off. You can pry it off, and it just pops right in, no issue. So it should be easy to swap if you have some kind of problem or something, or if you keep this thing for a decade and the battery's shot. Should be able to get another one. There's two-way audio for this, so if you're going to talk to the kiddos, you can do that. They can hear you, vice versa, back and forth. There's a slight delay from the time you push. There's no audio that you're hearing while you're speaking, but that's typical with all of them. The system that we had before this, the very first system we had, was an old ancient Motorola system that pretty much had a little tiny screen. I don't even know what the definition was on the monitor, but it was pretty bad. But it had a big light bar across the bottom. Then we switched over to Eufy. Their system's pretty nice. It's a lot thinner than this one, and I think a half-inch bigger screen on it, but I honestly like this one better for the simple fact you actually get a light sound level bar down here, so that you can, like, if you have a sound machine in your baby's room and you're watching TV or doing something that you just don't want to hear it, but you've got it in your line of sight, you can see that light bar go across right here. And that is very important. And I missed it the entire time that we had the Eufy system. They reached out and was like, hey, what do you want to review that we have? And I was like, the baby monitor, that system, because I noticed the light bar. And believe me, makes a world of difference. If I had to tell you, if I had to direct you in the way of Eufy or Conico, right now this is the best system I feel like that's out there. I'll go ahead and tell you that. I just feel like it is. It incorporates a lot of cool stuff in here. The only thing that is missing that might bother you if you utilize it, which I never did, is an SD card. There is no SD card slot on here, or TIFF card, to record. So if you got security concerns, or you want to catch some little critter in the act, your child doing something, and while you're asleep and you're curious about what's going on, it doesn't have that micro SD card slot. So I wish it had that. It should. It really should. It should be like behind the door in the battery compartment, because this door slides off pretty easy. They can put a little TIFF card reader in there, boom, you're done. That's the only downfall of it there, is the micro SD card. This is a 720p display on this thing, which is all you need. You might see something out there that's 1080 or something like that that might use your home network, but you're just going to run into problems, delays, issues, whatever. But with a self-contained system like this, I highly recommend this over something that uses your Wi-Fi. The only benefit to the Wi-Fi, though, is that you can probably tune in when you're away. So say dad or mom or whoever wants to check in and just look at the kids sleeping if they're working nights or something. You could do that probably with a Wi-Fi system, but not this one, but we never thought it was that big of a deal. You do get 90-degree vertical and 355-degree horizontal with the camera, so that should cover everything that you would probably need it to cover. It's got like a 1/4 thread on the bottom here, so you could probably get any kind of mount that you could dream of, which is cool because I think Eufy has a proprietary mount that they want to say that like goes in a corner or whatever, and it just doesn't have your typical mount, 1/4 mount down here, so you're limited and you got to pay whatever they want. But this route here, you could get any kind of camera clamp or action cam clamp or anything like that that's a 1/4 and actually mount this pretty solidly on your crib or whatever. So, and then the degree up and down wouldn't matter too much because you can kind of dial those in with a ball head on them and stuff. So I would go that route, get the cheapest camera clamp mount for your crib, boom, and you're off to the races. Pretty easy because the Eufy system wanted you to mount it to their proprietary mount, which took extra steps to be able to figure out how to mount the thing around the crib. And other systems do the same thing. So the 1/4 on the bottom's nice. It has some rubber feet on here too that stick pretty well. This does have sound and temperature detection alerts that you can turn on, which is really cool. So if it gets too hot or too cold, you'll get alerted by that. Or sound levels, which you got 3 degrees, low, medium, high, or something like that on your sound levels, where it'll wake you up. And it will wake you up because when we first got it, I was like, I'll put it on all these settings and I want to be alerted, because I had a almost 2-year-old at the time, like a 1 3/4, something like that. I don't go by months. I just don't want to do that. I don't know, the year and whatever. Anyway. So the 1 3/4 baby, we had this thing on there, and man, any little movement on the high sensitivity, you'd know it'd go off and it's gonna wake you up. There's no sleeping through this. And the low sensitivity on the sound is probably where it's at, but the cool thing is the temperature monitoring as well. And it's pretty accurate. I think it's off by like a degree on the temperature, but nothing crazy. Like if it dips, you know, extreme one way or the other, you'll definitely know if you've got that turned on to alert you. Of course, it has night vision. What baby monitor camera doesn't? And it's good. It's just as good as all the rest because it uses the light, the IR light, right there in the top, so a little single light there. If there's any lights in the room, also it'll amplify the ability to see the night vision of it, which is totally fine. You're not having any issues with the night vision. It has 5 lullaby songs on here. We've never used any kind of lullaby sounds at all with our kids. We just used a little, I'll link it down in the YouTube description, but it's just a box, a little tiny box that sits on the floor, and you can dial in the air sound. It's actual fan in there, and that's what we've used with both kids. And we've got a 4.5-year-old, 2-year-old now, and those things run like 24/7. And never had a problem with them. Kids love them. I'm addicted to it. I actually have one by my bed so I can sleep. So I'd go that route. Link down in the YouTube description. Just so you know, it's a 2.4 gigahertz internal system here between the two. And I tried just to for sneaky sake to connect my other cameras with the Eufy system, because I have like 2 of those cameras. And I tried to just use the pair button on the back, but I couldn't do it. So they're locked into their own system. So if you think you have other cameras that might work with it, it's not. And the other bad part, well, there's 2 bad parts. The SD card reader's not on here, and you can't buy the cameras by themselves. That's kind of, to me, a little silly-ish. Like you have to buy another whole system with a monitor. That's $100 and something bucks. So I really wish I tried to buy multiple cameras because I wanted to completely replace the Eufy system, just have a camera in the playroom and in their bedroom. But, you know, that's a no-go. And you get a 2,000 milliamp hour battery that I showed you earlier inside of this thing that is completely removable, which is nice. And you can get up to 5 hours, up to, depending on your brightness level on here. And the cool thing about the layout of this, now that we've covered all the specs that's on this thing, You've got a very cool layout. Like you've got shortcuts down here, which you just push that and it gets to volume and brightness of the screen right away, which are really the things that you're going to mess with, because when you go to bed at night, you want to dim this thing all the way down, and it gets to the perfect brightness that doesn't bother you while you're sleeping, which is good. And then it gets super bright when you're outside doing something and want to monitor that nap time. So that's on there. Another thing, you get the talk button that you'll hold down, and you'll see a little microphone come up here, and the mic is right down there for that. You get OK, which you'll use through the navigating through the settings, but the OK button also will magnify. It'll like 2 times punch in real quick and back out, which is very cool because the Eufy system has a screw-in lens for wide and standard. You don't have to screw in anything. You just push the OK, and the camera will automatically punch in like 2 times or so, and that'll give you what you need to see if your camera's far away. If you're just like wanting to look close at the baby's face or navigate around that area and then pop back out, so that is a cool plus. Then you get your menu button there, and then your cams. So if you got multiple cams to cycle through. And here's some tests of the actual monitor that you can see, check it out here, all that good stuff, what it sounds like coming through both ends of these devices.
Just wanted to know what I sounded like through the camera. This is what it sounds like with the mic on the front of the monitor, so you can talk to your kids, tell them they better get back to sleep or else.
Oh, in closing, this is a fantastic system. I love it. It replaces our Eufy with additions that we want, with that sound level, which is right down here across the bottom there. You'll see that in the video. But it's great. It's a great system. I highly recommend this. If you have a baby, a newborn, you know, somebody's having a kid and they want a system, I suggest you buy this one because they'll really like it. I think it, unless they want the SD card thing, but outside of that, I think this is a great system. So make sure to explode on that subscribe button and ding that bell so you get notified on the next product review that I have. This is linked down in the YouTube description. Please go check this thing out. I think it's solid, and the sale price right now on it should be the standard price, and I think it fits. It's right in there. That's your money's worth right now, is the price. See ya.